Edward "Teddy" Annis, is a Canadian professional wrestler, better known by his ring name Teddy Hart. He is currently working for the Mexican promotion Asistencia Asesoría y Administración and American Independent Circuit. He has also wrestled for the short-lived Wrestling Society X on MTV, Jersey All Pro Wrestling and Dragon Gate USA. Hart operates a wrestling school in Edmonton. Hart achieved a degree of fame when he became the youngest wrestler to be signed to the World Wrestling Federation. His subsequent release and controversial actions while wrestling on the independent circuit have earned him a measure of infamy. Professional wrestling career: Hart debuted in July 1995 at Rockerford, Alberta, where he teamed up with his brother, Matthew, and defeated his cousin, Harry Smith, and T.J. Wilson. In the Calgary-based Stampede Wrestling promotion, Hart teamed with Smith, Wilson and Jack Evans. In 2000, he wrestled for and was a key creative figure in the Matrix promotion. World Wrestling Federation: in 1998, Hart became the youngest person in wrestling history to be signed to a World Wrestling Federation developmental contract, and was sent to train with Dory Funk, Jr. at the Funkin' Conservatory. He was later released by WWF, however, due to alleged attitude problems. Ring of Honor and Total Nonstop Action Wrestling: on September 20, 2003, Teddy wrestled for Ring of Honor in Philadelphia on their September event Glory by Honor 2, where he defeated partner and friend, T.J. Wilson. Backstage, however, the Special K faction confronted Hart, and mocked him for not being a good high-flying wrestler. On November 1, 2003, Hart competed at a Ring of Honor show in Elizabeth, New Jersey as part of a scramble cage match. After losing the match, he began to perform moonsaults and executed a shooting star press from the top of the cage rather than selling the moves he had taken. Hart then vomited at ringside. His actions attracted the ire of many wrestlers, as he endangered some wrestlers by performing moves on them which they were not anticipating. Hart attributes his actions to a concussion suffered during the match, and has since only wrestled at 2 Raw shows, At Our Best, on March 13, 2004 and Final Battle 2009 against Jack Evans. Hart made several appearances with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. In August 2003, he defeated Johnny Storm and then lost to Juventud Guerrera in the course of the Super X Cup tournament. He returned in March 2004 as a member of Team Canada, and represented them as its original captain in the second America's X Cup, where Hart defeated Mr. Aguilar in the first match. He was released from the promotion following an altercation in a restaurant with CM Punk, where Sabre had to separate the two. Major League Wrestling: the Hart Foundation stable would later compete in Major League Wrestling, where Hart teamed with Evans as the Hart Foundation 2.0, as well as being labeled the New Hart Foundation. MLW's TV series, MLW Underground, would be the first appearance for Hart, Smith, Evans and T.J. Wilson on a major cable television network. On January 9, 2004, Hart defeated Bryan Danielson in a match billed as Shawn Michaels' Top Proto Copyright Gar Copyright versus the last student of the Hart Family Dungeon. Jersey All Pro Wrestling: in 2004, Hart began competing for Jersey All Pro Wrestling, and won the promotion's Tag Team Championship with Jack Evans by defeating the Strong Style Thugs in a steel cage tag team match at Caged Fury, with help from Hart's uncle Jim Neidhart. After being champions for nearly 4 months, Evans and Hart lost the titles to the Backseat Boys. 3 months later, Hart teamed up Homicide, one of the men he beat for the Tag Team Championship, to defeat the Backseat Boys for the titles, giving Hart his second reign and Homicide his 5th. A little over a week later, however, they lost the titles back to the Backseat Boys. On January 7, 2006, Hart defeated Azrael to become the new light heavyweight champion in a gauntlet match at Wild Card 2. 4 months later, Hart lost the title to Frankie Kazarian in a triple threat match also involving AJ Styles. On July 29, 2006, Hart took on Jay Lethal at a JAPW event in Aberdeen, New Jersey. The match culminated with Hart climbing on top of a soda machine and delivering a moonsault onto Lethal. The match was briefly stopped while Hart stepped out into the parking lot to recover. Hart managed to recuperate in time and then returned to the ring, where he won the match. On October 28, 2006, Hart defeated Homicide, Low-Ki, and Necro Butcher at the JAPW 9th Anniversary show in Rahway, New Jersey to win the vacated JAPW Heavyweight Championship. On January 23, 2007, Hart was stripped of the JAPW Heavyweight Championship due to problems with the promoter and was released from the company. Overseas, Wrestling Society X and Independent Circuit. On July 1, 2006, Hart made his One Pro Wrestling debut at Fight Club 2 in Yorkshire, England, and defeated Pac. During the next 2 months, Hart competed regularly for 1PW, including a 10-man brawl, in which he was eliminated by Abyss after Hart's teammate Steve Corino turned on him. On September 13, 2006, Hart and Corino wrestled in a grudge match at Pro Wrestling Explosion's debut show, lighting the fuse at the infamous ECW Arena. The match ended in a no contest after the referee, who was associated with Corino, claimed that Hart had submitted when he had not. Hart then challenged Corino to a fight in the parking lot, which led to another brawl. Hart made his debut with AZW Hawaii at their March 29 event Revenge and Retribution. He wrestled in both a singles against Sabaki and a 6-man tag team match, where he was partnered with Sabaki and Mark Anarchy against Akue, DDB and Rocco Shinoda. He debuted for Florida's Pro Wrestling Dynasty in 2006 as part of Team Vision, and helped them win in the main event. He also wrestled the next night for Florida's Coastal Championship Wrestling, teaming with Rance, defeating Pablo Marquez and JP Ace. He also wrestled for UXW Wrestling in Florida on their June 16, 2006 event Extreme Havoc, where he defeated Rance. Hart was part of MTV's Wrestling Society X project, which was filmed in 2006 and premiered in January 2007. He appeared in the inaugural Contract Rumble, where he was the second man to enter the ring, but did not win. Hart also wrestled tag team matches on later episodes of the show with M-Dog 20 Matt Cross, where their tag team was known as the Filth and the Fury. As a team, Hart and Cross managed to defeat the Trailer Park Boys and Team Dragon Gate. On the 5th episode, Hart had to be stretchered away following his match after landing leg first on the guardrail and then climbing to the top of the set and executing a moonsault, clashing heads as he landed. WSX ceased operations after their television show was cancelled. December 1, 2007, All Pro Wrestling, Marcus Riot and Teddy Hart defeated Dana Lee and Brian Cage in the main event. On March 22, 2008, Hart and Jack Evans defeated Ruckus and Trent Acid at PWS Majestic Mayhem in Round 1 of the Majestic Tournament to crown the first ever PWS champion. In the second round, Evans defeated Hart by count-out in a 30-minute match which received a standing ovation. A best-of-5 series was made and the two met for their second encounter on the May 2 at the Level Breakdown, where Hart was victorious. Future bouts in the series are yet to be announced due to both Hart and Evans working in Mexico. On May 4, 2012 in Rahway, New Jersey, Hart defeated Matt Hardy and Colt Cabana in a triple threat match for Pro Wrestling Syndicate. Returned to WWE, in 2005, he made several appearances with WWE, wrestling in dark matches, where he was defeated by Harry Smith and working as an enhancement talent on Velocity, teaming with J.D. Michaels against the Basham Brothers. On April 1, 2006, Hart and several of his relatives attended the induction of his uncle Brett into the WWE Hall of Fame. After WSX folded, Hart moved to Florida in hopes of earning a development deal with World Wrestling Entertainment, which he received. After being resigned, he was assigned to the Florida Championship Wrestling Developmental Facility of WWE. Hart appeared at the July 18 Ohio Valley Wrestling television taping, participating in a battle royal where the winner faced John Cena at Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom on July 27. Although he lost, it was announced that he and Harry Smith would face Shad Gaspard and JTG at the same show. The Next Generation Hart Foundation began teaming regularly, and would go on to defeat teams such as the James Boys, Charles Evans and Justin LaRouche, Mr. Stronco and Ramon Loco, and Jimena Livencia and TJ Dalton. Hart appeared at the debut show for Florida Championship Wrestling, as he defeated Sean Osborne and competed in a Battle Royal and a Triple Threat match. On September 25, T.J. Wilson and Ted DiBiase, Jr. joined the Next Generation Hart Foundation stable alongside Hart, Smith, and Neidhart. On October 2, Hart competed in his last match for the promotion as he and T.J. Wilson defeated Mike Mondo and Nick Nemeth. On October 11, Hart was released from the company. Return to JAPW. On October 27, 2007, Teddy Hart returned to JAPW after interfering in the fight between Homicide and Low-Ki at the JAPW 10th anniversary show. On December 8, 2007, Teddy Hart teamed with Low-Ki against the Latin American Xkange and BLK out in a three-way match for the JAPW Tag Team Championship at Seasons Beatings, however Lax retained. On January 19, 2008, Hart defeated Homicide and Eddie Kingston in a three-way no-disqualification New Jersey street fight at Reclaiming Hudson. Less than a month later on February 16, 2008, Hart defeated Kenny Omega and Xavier in a three-way elimination match at Wild Card 4. After the match, Hernandez hit Hart with the border toss. That same night, Hart, in response to being attacked by Hernandez, announced that he would challenge Lax for the tag team titles at Caged Fury and that his partner would be Samoa Joe. On March 8, 2008, Lax defeated Hart and Samoa Joe in a steel cage match to retain the tag team championship at Caged Fury. Ring of Honor. On December 19, 2009, more than 5.5 years after his last appearance, Hart returned to Ring of Honor at their first live pay-per-view Final Battle 2009, where he was defeated by Jack Evans. Asistencia allows Asesoría y Administración cubed en, la Liga cubed en extranjera. Hart made his Asistencia allows Asesoría y Administración cubed en debut on November 20, 2007 in an Extreme four-way tag team ladder match, where he teamed with Sabu against Crazy Boy and Joe Lidder, Charlie Manson and Chessman, Extreme Tiger and Halloween for the AAA World Tag Team Championship at Guerrilla Titans. Soon after joining, Hart joined Connon's heel stable Liga cubed en extranjera, where he regularly teams with Evans as the Hart Foundation 2.0. Part of his villainous character is that he cannot speak Spanish and during his promos, AAA captions his remarks in Spanish. On March 16, 2008, Hart lost a $2,500 ladder battle royal match to Extreme Tiger, which also included Chessman, Juventud Guerrera, Halloween and Joe Lidder at Raider Reyes. On June 13, the Mexican Powers defeated La Liga cubed en extranjera, and La Familia de Tijuana in a three-way elimination match at Triple Manor 16. On September 14, La Hermandad Extrema defeated the Hart Foundation 2.0, the Mexican Powers and La Familia de Tijuana in a four-way ladder match for the World Tag Team Championship at Verano de Escándalo. After the loss, Hart and Evans began feuding with Lidder and Nico, and on October 24, La Hermandad Extrema defeated the Hart Foundation 2.0, and Los Bello Stones in a three-way ladder match for the World Tag Team Championship at the 2008 Antonio P. ± Memorial Show. On December 6, Hart and Evans wrestled to a double count-out against Lidder and Nico for the World Tag Team Championship at Guerrilla Titans. On March 15, 2009, El Zorro, Hart and Evans defeated Charlie Manson and D-Generation Mex at Raider Reyes. In June 2009, Hart and the rest of Legion Extrandra turned on Evans and kicked him out of the stable. On June 13, Team AAA defeated La Legion Extrandra at Triplemania 17 to regain control over AAA and force Konnan out of the company. On August 21 at Verano de Escándalo, Konnan and Hart returned to AAA with their new version of La Legion Extrandra. In early 2010, AAA suspended Hart indefinitely. Los Perros del Mal. Hart returned to AAA on March 18, 2012, at Raider Reyes, where he teamed with Chessman in a four-way tag team match, which was won by Joe Lidder and Juventud Guerrera and also included the teams of Extreme Tiger and Far Copyright Nix, and Halloween and Nico El Millonario. On April 1, El Hijo del Perro Aguayo, who had recently been feuding with Hart's former partner Jack Evans, named Hart the newest member of his Los Perros del Mal stable. On August 5 at Triple Mano 20, Hart reunited with Evans for one night to take part in a Parrilla Suicidas steel cage match, featuring 3 other former tag teams. However, both Hart and Evans managed to escape the cage and avoid having to face each other in a hair versus hair match. Personal life: Anis is the oldest grandchild of Stu and Helen Hart. He is of Greek descent through his maternal great-grandparents. Hart is a third-generation wrestler. His father, B.J. Anis, and his grandfather Stu Hart were both wrestlers. Anis' brother Matt died of necrotizing fasciitis in 1996. Anis has a son, Bradley, with his girlfriend Kim. In wrestling, finishing moves: diving headbutt, the heart attack, heart destroyer, a present, open heart surgery, triple bypass. Signature moves: belly-to-back suplex flipped into a bulldog, cradle DDT, fireman's carry sight-out face buster, Fujiwara armor, heart attack 2.0, heart rate, powerbomb into a double knee backbreaker, single-arm DDT, spike DDT, sometimes preceded by a springboard swan dive, springboard moonsault, straight jacket spike pilly driver, Stu Hart special. Managers: Scott D'Amore, Jeff Meacham, Natty Neidhart, Conan. Nicknames: The Loose Cannon, The Terminator. Entrance themes: When the Music Stops by Eminem, Lose Yourself by Eminem, All Eyes on Me by Tupac, Perros by Cartel de Santa. Championships and accomplishments: Ballpark Brawl, Natural Heavyweight Championship. Jersey All-Pro Wrestling, JAPW Heavyweight Championship, JAPW Light Heavyweight Championship, JAPW Tag Team Championship a Euro with Jack Evans and Homicide. Power Wrestling Alliance, PWA Cruiserweight Championship. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, PWI ranked him number 224 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 2010. Real Canadian Wrestling, RCW Tag Team Championship, with Pete Wilson and Kato. Stampede Wrestling, Stampede International Tag Team Championship a Euro with Bruce Hart. References. External links. AAA Profile, Stampede Wrestling Profile, Online World of Wrestling Profile, Hart Family News.